is Tristan with Nerdut's Newsstand, and we are back with another Bad Ideas, and we are going to kind of hodgepodge it up here. We're going to talk about great or good LGBTQ manga and webtoons. Kind of at the last minute, we were like, what are we going to do? What's an idea? So this is what we came up with, and kiss my butt if it's not good enough for you. That's what I have to say about that. How are you today, Bianca?
I'm doing good. Am I actually going to be talking about specific title?
I don't know. We were so last minute here. We were like, you know what? I still like the monster idea. I'm still going to make you talk about some werewolves here in the future at some time. But,
Yes.
yeah, we'll talk some specifics. But, mostly I wanted to, it was pretty funny. And the reason what made me think about this is there was a while ago, we did the Pride video, right? For comic book characters, our favorite ones. And got told it was a virtue signal every once in a while. But this brought up an idea in the comment section where someone was saying, oh, I'm so glad manga doesn't have this. I'm so glad this doesn't exist. And I'm like, oh boy. Should we tell them? So I started looking it up, and I got a couple of those you know those like list websites from like CBR, Bleeding Cool, that are like the best LGBTQ manga, and 5 of the worst or something like that. And
I feel like their choices are always debatable.
It's not only that, but I noticed when I looked up a couple different ones that their choices are always the same. Always. Like, did you get a script for this and just pass it around to different nerd websites or what? Because it was always the same. But it's this weird idea that I've noticed going around since, you know, the whole manga and comics are better. You know, one's winning, the other's not. The other's losing, the other's winning. Has gone around that manga actually doesn't have a whole lot of representation. And since you are this channel's resident manga expert, time for you to school everyone.
Oh gosh. So I'm still learning about this. I'll try my best though. If anybody wants to like correct me, you know, feel free. I never mind a correction, you know.
That's right.
Some people are like, oh, how dare you correct me? I'm right. And I'm like, nah, listen, I need it, okay? I watch so much videos on this. I talk to many people about this, and I can still get it wrong, you know?
Oh, absolutely. I'd much rather somebody correct me than to keep saying the same thing in different, you know, videos or live streams or something and say it wrong every single time. Like, you're doing me a favor. You're helping me learn. Correct me if I am incorrect, and I will fix the mistake. But I know there's like, you tried to tell me this before. There's like BL and GL and Yayo. That's probably so wrong. I'm so white. I'm sorry.
Yaoi.
Okay. So what are these? Tell us.
Okay, so BL means boy loves, GL means girl love. For them, it's just like the whole genre, including yaoi, yuri, shoujo ai, and shonen ai. It literally is the entire spiel, right? And then we have yaoi, which is 2 guys getting together, but it is usually very sexual.
Okay. So that's different than BL because there's more of the dirty going on. Gotcha.
Yes. And then you have Shonen Ai, which usually a lot of people recommend if you're looking more for an actual story and character development. Not that yaoi doesn't do that, but for a long time, that's what it was mostly focusing on. It seems like nowadays, Japan is kind of like changing that, or I'm not sure if this is intended or not, but there has been a few yaoi titles that were like freaking wholesome. And I'm like, yo, why is this so wholesome? This is weird. They're changing. And now a lot of them are like, hey, you know, let's stop this whole yaoi business and just say BL. And I'm like, sure. I don't care. There are some people who go too far, like, you know, yaoi, that's derogatory. And I'm like, weirdo. Okay. And then now we go to the girls. So we have GL, which is, you know, the entire spiel. Then we have Yuri. The funny thing for this is that for yaoi and shonen ai, those usually had there were two very different things. One is more raunchy, the other one is more character development. But for Yuri and shonen ai, there's not that much a difference between the two. It could be that like even a shonen ai, which is supposed to be like soft character development or that kind of stuff, it can still sometimes have a little bit of that raunchiness. And then for the Yuri, it can have a little bit more of it, but they still focus on stuff like character development and story, which is honestly probably the reason why that when I was ever looking at both of these to see what people liked about them, because yaoi was obviously more popular with girls and Yuri was obviously more popular with guys, I found myself going to more of the Yuri and the whole GL spiel because I'm like, okay, I'm actually invested in a lot of these more than the guys stuff, which I'm like, is that weird? I don't know, probably not.
Well, no, not if there's more character development. You're gonna get more invested into the characters than just straight up like, hi, pizza delivery boy. Okay, bad pun.
There's actually one called that.
No, there's not. That's so funny. So when it comes to the BL and GL ones, those are actual stories though, right? Like you actually get something I want to say similar, but you know, it's something like the John Kemp book where you've got actual action and story and movement forward. You get it's not just all about the relationship, right? Or is it? I could be wrong.
That can actually be very hard to do. Usually if there is a romantic part, they would try to focus on the romantic part as much as possible so they can tell you, hey, just so you know, this character is going to be more in the forefront. We're not forgetting this character, and all that stuff. Like they would actually put him more to the forefront compared to the John L story. The John L story wants to focus more on action. I think the recent story that had something like that in anime form was probably Yuri on Ice, which is not lesbian. It's gay. And honestly, I hate that anime so freaking much, bro. I was bored out of my mind.
Oh no.
Also, I don't like the woman who created it, so
fuck that bitch. Just
I don't say that. She was insanely popular for a reason, bro.
So you know what's it's kind of gonna be a weird thing to say, but as a comic fan, I'm kind of jealous of all of the different categories that manga has. Like, I wish there was more. There's a lot of more slice of life or specific. Like, you can find fishing mangas. Like, there's so
I gotta watch that fishing anime. You just reminded me.
There's so much. There's so much. And with comics, like, generally from the big two, you're gonna get superhero comics. And then from the indies, you'll get some horror comics and some different types, but a lot of, or, you know, zombies and different, I don't know, Department of Truth where you kind of got conspiratorial. There's different ideas out there, but there's not near as many, which is crazy to me because I would love to see some. I got to be able to get past, and I know I could just read more manga. I know I could, but I got to be able to get past the artwork. Like,
a lot of the times you've been reading seinen and shonen artwork. Let me see if I can find a shoujo or josei. Nana!
Is it different art?
Yes, like, the way they do the art is insanely different.
See,
yes, no, so sorry.
No, I tried. Like, I made the conscious effort to pick up, like, I like certain ones. I've talked about them in the past, but like I made the conscious effort to get Attack on Titan. And I know that's not
with LGBT, the most terrible art ever.
Yes. Like some of this, I
so
was
sorry.
Like, I didn't know what I was getting. So I'm like, wow, what is this? Like, I gotta be able to get past it.
So here's what I do before I get like a manga or like start reading on the manga, I look up what they look like online by like putting their name and putting the images to show me what the manga looks like before I get into it, because I'm really picky about it.
And I should have done that, but I had just heard so much good about Attack on Titan. I'm like, that's a for sure win, right? Like everybody loves that. Oh boy. It is just, it's weird. I don't know. Like I don't mind stuff, and I know it's American made, but whatever. Like Common America, very manga-esque. I like that. I don't mind that art style, but still, there's nothing like a good American comic book, and I have a hard time getting past it. I'm not gonna lie.
Honestly, after researching how the comic industry became this way with its romance, I became extremely ticked off. And remember that, remember we did that video about advertising to girls and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, it was that problem too. They wanted to advertise more to boys, so they kept with superhero stuff.
You know what? That actually makes a lot of sense. A lot of people don't like my opinions on comics, and it also has a lot to do with, I do love superhero comics with action and everything else, but you can't just be all action. You have to have a good storyline with good characters. And I love I ship people all the time. I shouldn't. I do it all the time. Get over it. I do it way too often.
I can't see the screen, so I sent this to you.
Oh, okay. Let me bring it up.
This is one of the, this is a famous one, actually.
But I just, there's not a whole, like, when you talk about comics, when you, like, what would it be called? I can't do two things at once. Hello, Nana. Oh, I was talking about my, is it showing?
Yes, it's showing. So this is a comic for women 18 years and older. This is one of the most popular stories ever, and the mangaka, oh gosh, I think her name was like Yonezawa or something like that. She just got her own museum featuring her art and her manga and merch and all that stuff. It just opened. I'm so sad I can't be in Japan to see it.
What is this called though?
Nana.
It's just called Nana?
Yep, it's about two girls named Nana. One of them...
Wait, are there both of their names?
There's two girls named Nana. Yes, coincidentally. I believe they're around the same age too, but they both live very different lives. One of them is like some sort of goth punk rocker, and who has like a struggled life, and the other one's more like a privileged life. Mm-hmm. And she kind of like... I think she wasn't going to go to college so she can live with her boyfriend. But then she went to, and they both met on the train, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm here to visit my boyfriend and all that stuff. And, you know, they're like, oh, we have the same name. But, you know, the goth one is very annoyed with the peppy cherry one. And it's a whole dynamic. They end up getting an apartment together and all that stuff. Like, I didn't finish it. But the reason is because there is a rape scene that happens. Unfortunately, it's with that guy. Ooh. So, I don't even know how explicit it is. Usually it's not as explicit when they're doing, like, adult scenes. Right. But I know the premise is interesting, and I'm like, I have to see how they do it so I can know about it. And the reason is because, like, near the ending or whatever, she goes to live with the rapist because he has money rather than the guy she likes. I remember so many people defending that. They're like, he has money. He can provide for the child and all that stuff. And I'm like, eh. And the other one, and then their other argument was like the guy that she did like, she was part of the band. He was part of the band with the other Nana, right? So they don't get that much money. And she was like, she was more worried about the child financially. So she went with the rapist guy. But you know how people are like, you know, maybe if the girl wasn't like so flirtatious or something like that. Yeah. You know. So this is actually her. She has a boyfriend and she constantly flirts with other guys, automatically thinking they have a crush on her or something. And that's one of the many reasons I just do not like her. She does this constantly. And like she even made up an imaginary girlfriend, and she's like, oh my gosh, I bet she wears Prada and heels and she's cute and her name is like Saki or something like that, and you're hanging out with her, and the boyfriend's like, what the frick are you talking about? Coincidentally enough, somebody new joins his job. She wears Prada, she has high heels, she's super adorable, her name's like Saki. And then I'm just like, hey, listen, break up with Nana, go with this one. She obviously cares about you more. And, you know, the peppy Nana, whatever, she's very unappreciative. Extremely. Like, you know, once she got an apartment, she's like, I need food. I need this. And her friends and her boyfriend was like, hey, here's some apples. Here's some rice. And she was like, you guys don't love me. And I'm like, yo, they gave you apples and rice. Do something with it. At least until you get a job. But she broke up with that boyfriend. And I'm sorry. I was putting both of the boyfriends together because she had two. One of them is the dependable one who was going to college and wanted to be an actor and named Michael for some reason. And then the other one was the rocker who worked for the other Nana. And so, you know, the dependable guy ended up cheating on her. And I was like, with the other Saki. And I'm like, bro, she was just calling you. You could have answered and said, we're off, and then go with the other girl. But you didn't. Yeah. You purposely didn't answer, and that kind of makes you a douche for it. But then that's the whole drama, you know, that's what gets you into it.
Right.
And like, I can't stop watching. But a lot of her works are just so like amazing. But she has been known to be on hiatus a lot. I believe it's also, of course, due to health issues or issues she just doesn't say.
I think when it comes to, I think I figured out what it is. And okay, is it good now?
I mean, but you've seen Sailor Moon, right? Yeah, you look great. Yes. You sound great. Sorry.
Okay, good. Well, thank you, Bianca.
At the same time.
Yeah, I've seen Sailor Moon, and it's been years, but
you don't know what the book looks like, right?
Right. Yeah, no, I have no idea. And like, even when you look at stuff like One Piece and stuff, I'm like, it's just, I know a lot of people like it. I know it's super popular. I'm not saying anything bad about it, but it just doesn't have that realistic tone that I like in modern comics. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, the art did change over time. But like, it's still like not my preferred art.
Gotta look at this. I'm curious.
Sorry, excuse me.
I think this is the one I shared a while back. I'm curious to see if you know these. If you've recognized, like, these are supposed to be the most. Whoa, hello.
I know that one.
You're like, I know it. I do.
I remember it being advertised. Like, you know how fans like to share their own things or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I don't even remember what the heck I was searching up. This is when I had a Tumblr.
Oh, you know what? I have one. I just don't ever use it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure mine still exists. But like, I would just like stop using it for a longer time, and then I was like, wait. I remember that I really hate Yuri on Ice. Let me see if there's still hate about it, so I can just like all of the posts.
Oh my gosh. Wait, it says. Meanwhile, queer mangaka, I think
mangaka
have been publishing their work through small press under publishers, and queer manga magazines have been around for decades. So, was just like with comics, I'm guessing that it was pretty frowned upon for a while. Is it a newer thing
for manga?
Yeah.
It was like, it started very, very early on. But over the time, they just like got used to it and just, you know, hey, it's a thing that exists or whatever. But, you know, it's always funny because usually in like, when you watch an anime or you read a manga and it's a girl looking at like, reading yaoi or something, there's always got to be something comical with that. It's never really taken as like a serious thing. And then if you see somebody,
really?
Yeah, and then if you see somebody who's like an anime nerd or an otaku and has like merch around their house, they're like, oh my gosh, you're one of those freaks. He's like, listen, anime's life. I have a waifu. Look at my body pillow.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, this has appeared. It's been around since the 70s. So I wonder why this narrative that it doesn't exist. The only thing I can give is the lack
I know
of
that
legend.
one.
It's him, not me. See what I mean? It's not realistic. I can't get used to it. I've tried.
Well, that's what it looks like on the
eyes
outside.
are that big.
It looks different on the inside.
That's true. And I know I'm going to get so much shit for saying it's not realistic, but I'm not talking about realistic body portions or girls, that are like Wonder Woman can't have big boobs, because I don't care about that. What I mean is like the facial structure.
For the video that I was going to send you, the person actually describes it like, so the girls, they wanted to make more innocent looking, and because of that, they'll put in like bigger, doughy eyes to describe it.
That makes sense. So that's a way to kind of portray innocence, and I get that. But then sometimes it also makes me like think that they're younger, and then like I sent you that video about lollies.
Oh, that's right.
Lollies.
I still have to. I watched so many videos with lollies and all that stuff, and then I actually got they're like, people on one side, no, it's not pedophilic, it just means you like young looking girls, and then the other side was like, no, it is pedophilic. Why do you think it's like an insult in Japan? And so there was a person who was talking about that trope of lollies, and I'm like, okay, I can agree and disagree with some things. And then you have people in the comment section saying, wow, she doesn't know anything about Japanese culture. This is why girls shouldn't watch anime or become anime tubers. They're called Annie-tubers. And they're like, wow, have you ever gotten a Japanese person's opinion on all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. And then scrolling down, I was like, I saw a comment that says, hi, Japanese person here. And, speaking with their broken English, they were trying to give the info. Yes, it does mean pedophile. And
okay,
people keep thinking that like we're okay with this, but a lot of us who watch anime do not. And there was a whole big thing with an anime translation. There was one where there was a guy in anime about two guys talking. He had some magazines under his bed, and it was like a girl. And the thing is, like, I don't know the girl's age because there are porn magazines for children that exist. So I don't know if it was a child or if it was a young-looking girl. From my understanding, there was no context. And then in the Japanese version, he was like, oh my gosh, you're a lolicon. And then in the English version, it said, oh my gosh, you're a pedophile? But they said it nonchalantly, and I'm like, shouldn't this be a bigger issue? And everybody was like, how dare you mistranslate? I'm like, hold up. If a Japanese person is actually saying that, yes, this is true, then that means this wasn't translated incorrectly. Not only that, but this isn't the first time that happened. There was an anime I was watching called Okami-san and Her Seven Companions, which is like every episode is like it's like an anthology, I guess you can say, but near the ending it has a connected storyline, and it's fairy tales, but like as people. You have Okami-san, which means wolf, and she's the wolf from Little Red Riding Hood. She has a friend,
like fables.
Yes, so she has a friend named Ringo, which means apple, who is Little Red Riding Hood. She has the basket, she wears the red cloak and all that stuff. And then, there's the guy the wolf girl likes, which is supposed to be the hunter. But, he has a phobia of people staring at him. And so in that series, there was the English version of, like, there was the Little Red Riding Hood girl, and she has a rival. And the story with the turtle versus the rabbit, yeah?
Yeah. Yep.
Yes. So the rabbit is a character, and so is the turtle. And so Turtle Girl and Red Riding Hood Girl, they have a mutual dislike because they're both short. They both look like little girls, but they use it to their advantage. There was a club room they went to, and it was guys taking pictures of her and other people wearing like what was it, RPG outfits or something like that, or it was swimsuits, I don't remember, it's been so long. And they're like, wait, why are we here taking pictures? Like, because we need their votes, they're pedophiles. And I was like,
oh my goodness.
And I was like, oh, Yep. That makes so much sense. But then it's like, let me not go to a Westerners, like, Westerners, please shut up. You like said so much misinformation about Japan that I believed it when I was younger, and then I would spread it to other people, and then after learning about Japan, their culture, and even talking to them, I'm just like, everything I've learned is a lie. Hentai does not mean porn. That's something Westerners did.
I thought it did until you told me different.
Yeah, lolly does mean pedophile, from what Japanese people have told me. The legal age to marry is not freaking 13. Because like when there would be an anime where it would be an adult marrying a 13-year-old girl or whatever, they're like, yeah, but that's how the laws are in Japan. No, it's not.
Oh, so
depending
weird.
on where you are, it is 13 through 18. There's these 2 random islands that literally nobody has ever heard of, and that over there is mostly the 13 because it's so small. The population is so small over there. And it's not between a freaking 13-year-old and an adult. It's between 2 13-year-olds with parents' consent. And you just defended pedophilia in a different country that doesn't exist over there. Like,
oh my God,
I was
so
defending
weird.
it too. I'm like, yeah, it's just a different culture. And I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not. Oh my gosh. Even if it was a different culture, it's still a problem.
Yeah, okay. I defend a lot of times how women are drawn when they look sexy because they're like, oh, it's objectification, da 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 da. I'm like, well, not really, because it's not a real thing, right? It's not really an object. You can't objectify something that's not an object. But when it comes to stuff like the lolicon, yes. But
like,
when it comes
you
to
can't that she wasn't drawn to be, sexualizing. That'd be a lie. Like, she gets the long legs.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You see her walk, it focuses on her butt. But that's on purpose. It's on purpose. It's supposed to be like that. And I'm not saying that's wrong because that's how she's supposed to be, And I didn't realize
I have no issue with that. But if you're talking about like even if it's a drawing and it's a child, I'm just like, I'm out. I can't. It's so creepy. It's so creepy.
As long as they have said that it's an adult and I can actually relate to it as a short person, then that's when I can sort of be okay with it. Because I have watched and read the reverse, where it's like a taller girl, short guy, but the guy looks like a lot younger.
Right.
And the thing is, like, but I related to the short guys, though. Some of these I did heard of, by the way. Wandering Sun is the one everybody recommends. The one more on the top.
Yeah.
But I found that weird because this story says it's literally about... children. Yeah, it says that it's about a 5th grader learning that he's, like, transgender. But I've heard many people from the West saying, oh, the gay agenda is targeting our kids and trying to force them to be gay. And then they're like, oh, read Wandering Sun. And I'm like,
that sounds literally like, what's that one book that genderqueer that's been kind of in the news lately? That's what this sounds like.
And I'm like, you're fine with this, but you're not fine with that. They're like, well, it will focus on story. And I'm like, well, it's teaching you about a 5th grader's gender dysphoria. A kid having gender dysphoria of him thinking he's not a girl, or not a boy, or something like that, whatever. Like, it's still a pretty big thing, especially since you're not in middle school yet. Because, like, people have been saying, some of them, at a very young age. And people say, well, no, that's not true. Well, Wandering Sun's about a 5th grader.
Yeah, well, I think it was Blair White that said she knew she was a girl since she was, like, 3. So, like, it does happen.
Some will know when they're 50.
Yeah, exactly. Some won't know. Like, there is a bunch.
I know The Bride was a boy. That's actually very popular.
I think our son is gay. That's for the parent.
No, my brother's husband. I saw that from Just Some Guys review.
Oh, he reviewed it? I'm surprised he reviewed it.
I believe he recommended it. It's about a guy who's like a Westerner, and he visits this Japanese guy, and he's like, "Hey, I'm your twin brother's husband," and just I think it was like they showed up at a funeral or something like that, and so he gets to learn about his gay twin brother through the what's it called, widower.
Oh, okay. Well, that does sound kind of interesting. Like sad, but interesting at the same time.
And then I know my lesbian experience with loneliness. I saw that at Barnes and Nobles.
Oh, that's
I believe it's a autobiography.
Wow.
They do a lot of those. So for this one, usually a lot of the times when it's a girl doing her own autobiography, they will make themselves look sometimes unappealing on purpose. And I'm like, is this like of what you think you look like thing, or is it, hey, let's do something goofy? Like you look her, right? You see her in the cover.
Yeah, she's got not the best picture, but yeah, I see what you mean. How she's all funky and her eyes are. Well, let me click on it. Well, that didn't really help at all. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. No, yeah, it's not. I get what you mean though. Her hair is all frazzled. Her face is all frazzled.
That's her being surprised.
Like well, I get what you mean.
She's like, what's happening? And I believe she's also an extreme introvert. So this is like, she wants to experience, but she's such an introvert. She's like, people, and like, how do I do this?
I totally get the introvert thing. This cover is so pretty. Some of these, that's what I mean. I need to be more open to the art style. Yep, 5th grade. Oh my goodness, that's so weird. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. If you have an issue with books like genderqueer, you should absolutely have a issue with mangas like this.
What did you eat yesterday? I heard that one's really popular.
Well, I thought you were asking me.
No.
I was like, what? I don't even remember what I ate this morning. That's pretty funny.
Did I eat this? No, I worked in the morning. I
know, that's why I'm like, wait.
Sorry. I forgot to let you know that they're putting the types of genres. They're not genres. They're demographics. No, they are genres. What the heck am I talking about?
This one.
Wait. Oh no, my memory.
This is a part cookbook. There's so
I have one.
much variety.
I have one where it's called Sweetness and Lightning. For this one, the guys have like a pretty normal eyes. I guess that's what you call them. The girls, they're a tiny bit bigger, but for the little kids, they have like the biggest eyes because they're adorable and innocent. And it's about a single dad wanting to cook for his daughter because he only fed her like, those TV meals and stuff. Yeah. After his wife died. And he realized, oh my gosh, I should be feeding her like actual food. And I have one of the mangas, and it's like, hey, you want to cook this? Here's what you should do. And I'm like, how the frick do I get all these ingredients? But it's like they're so specific about it, which is nice.
That's so
like,
cool,
I want to use
it. That is so. They take okay. I know we have a lot of literature here in the U.S. I know we have books and novels and comic books and graphic novels, same thing, whatever. But they have so much more of a variety of literature than we do. And I don't understand why. I know it's like cheaper produced, and a lot of times they're not paid well, but still, why is there so much variety? Like compared to US?
They didn't have the Comicsgate Authority. Now, did I say Comicsgate Authority? What?
Yes, you did! The Comics Code Authority!
Code Authority. I'm sorry. So like when there was romance for comic books for females, they had the Comics Code Authority. Like, oh, they can't show to be like cheating. They can't show to be too affectionate towards each other. And I'm like, you do all these rules and you expect them to buy it? That's some bullcrap. And then of course, once they did away with it, they did away, later with the Comics Code Authority. And I'm just like, bring it back. And it's funny because a lot of people who or Comicsgate or hate the Marvel DC industry right now, they're like, yeah, bring it back. Like, you know, you could be bringing it back. And I'm like, they could, but like, you know, do they start with the superhero genre?
That
like,
would be
they've
terrible.
always had romance on the superhero genre.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, look at Clark and Lois, or even Selena and Bruce. Like, there's always been romance. DC doesn't necessarily like marriages, but there's always been romance. The Comics Code Authority crippled the industry so much. Like, you know, you weren't even allowed to say the word horror. Like, not horror. Like the horror, HORROR.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I was getting a little too close.
These dang conservatives.
Right. And then you weren't allowed to, like, it said, like, any sort of sexual perversion was not allowed. And that was so just weird. Anything queer whatsoever.
I remember I was like, I get these random shorts sent to me, not sent to me, recommended to me by YouTube, and there's like, oh my gosh, it's Oliver Queen and Dinah Lance. Wait, Dinah Lance? Yeah. Sorry, the Arrowverse has me messed up with their names. And I'm like, oh, their moments together. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they're having sex. Oh my gosh, I see a nipple. They showed boobs and nipples. Oh my gosh, they're on the bed. And I'm like, who told me comics weren't sexual? Why are you guys lying? And then I remember you sent me the Talia and Bruce one, and I'm like, you guys said it wasn't sexual. Why are you guys lying? Or maybe it was super sexual back in the day. I don't know.
I mean, like, stuff like Dinah and Batman, the first time they meet, they're, like, doing it within, like, 2 minutes. Like, hi, how are you? Nice suit. Want to take it off? Like, come on. Stop acting like sexuality wasn't always in comics. What you're really trying to say, it was always straight. Not that hard to read between the lines, guys. It's not. And I find it amusing. Like, yeah, okay. To be fair, there was a huge issue when Kate Kane came out and they had her Batwoman run. There was a big deal because J.H. Williams, oh, I forget the writer's name. It's not that important, but they wanted, Kate and Maggie Sawyer to get married. Well, this was also 20 years ago. Well, 15 years ago. And they actually quit and never returned to DC because of their rules on romance. They don't care about, they'll have gay relationships. You're just not allowed to get married because it's boring to readers. There's no drama in it. They want to keep people coming back. So yeah, it's always been there. It's just always been vanilla. super vanilla. And I get it. They want their IPs to be friendly to children, but
since when was it ever friendly to children? It's 12 plus. It's still not friendly to children.
Let's be real. It's
not
children reading it.
I'm looking at pro versus noobs with Robert. I'm looking at all these comics and I'm like, yo, they're having sex. This is for 12 and up. Like, for some reason,
there's a lot of sex in it.
For some reason, down there is their preferred section.
Wait, what?
Am I allowed to say the word?
Yeah, because I don't know what you mean.
I believe it's pronounced cunningless.
Oh, like a dude going down on a chick.
Yeah. That happens.
Bianca's so shy. Yes, that is preferred method because it's a good shot for the camera.
I believe Hominus was Hominus recommending you 10 dance? I think he was recommending you 10 dance.
Hominus knows my style.
So for this one, their eyes are not big.
Oh, see? That does look relatively. It's weird to me. It does look good though. Like, there would be no difference between like Lucifer and John Constantine there. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same style art.
Of course.
John Constantine is a little whore. Don't let him tell you any different. Are you going to tell me about 10 Dance, or don't you know about it?
I know I read the synopsis like a long time ago. It's about a guy who wants to dance, and then he has a guy teaching him. But I think he just like hate a lot of this is usually a trope. Oh my gosh, I hate that guy. So this guy is gonna teach you how to dance. He's like, no.
Don't they usually fall in love with a guy that they hate?
Yeah, a lot of times.
Yeah, that makes
these
sense.
ones. I don't know. It's like sometimes I really like looking at stuff like noses. This one seems to like doing really big noses.
Now we hunky dudes here embracing love.
Are you searching it up?
No. Look right here.
Oh, that's definitely like 80s style.
Yeah, but it looks like 80s style looked more realistic to me. Oh, I've heard of this one.
A lot of people
know anything about
Yeah, that's super popular. I think they just finished one of their movies this year. So gay, and they're on a band. I heard it's one of the best ones right now.
It has a movie or a series?
Both. I believe it has 2 movies.
I've heard about that one before, and I know I think I've heard pretty good things too, if I remember.
Oh, I heard nothing but good things.
Yeah.
I've heard of Hiji. I can't read the Japanese if you're not showing it. Thank you.
I saw it.
Kitori Jime, my hero. But I'm not really into teacher and high school relationships.
No, that's weird.
But
weird power
this
dynamic.
is also very popular and very recommended. And I'm just like, weird. I'm sorry, I cannot. No. I mean, I know when you are in Japan, you get your degrees for whatever you freaking want very early. You can be a teacher at 21.
Wow.
You know, and I'm like, listen, even though it's like that, I can't.
It's not even like 21 and 18, fine, but it's the power dynamic to me.
Yeah.
That makes it so weird.
So I think like blonde-haired guy was like getting beat up, and teacher guy who's like, oh my gosh, so professional at work, but he's like a snob or a slacker or not clean, whatever.
I totally thought you were gonna say a slut. I was like, whoa, where are we going?
I don't know. He defends him or something, and you know that's how it all started. And I'm like, okay. I heard of Love Stage too. I remember when it first came out, because apparently there's a few mangas that are called Love Stage. So my friends were talking about it in high school. I felt left out because they read BL and I didn't. And you know, you had the Christian, you had the Catholic, and I'm like, all of them are freaking religious. It's always the religious ones.
I do like how they put it right with, where did my cursor go? Right with here. Like, I know people say that trigger warnings are for babies, but when it comes to shit like that, I would much rather know. I would much rather know.
I'm the same. I'm like, I want to get prepared for it. So for this one, I remember when it first came out, it got so much love, and now I'm hearing a lot of criticism about it. And the reason is because this guy, I think they're in a formed marriage or something like that. Like marriage was chosen for them, but the guy, one of the guys who's like very feminine, he cosplays, I believe, and so he was a girl. He was dressed like a girl, and the other guy was like, "Oh my gosh, I love you." And then, you know, once he finds out he's a guy, he's like, "What the frick?" And usually for the sexual assault, it's usually like something like the feminine one's like, "No, please stop," and the other one's like, "No, I know you want it. Don't resist." Stuff like that, which is in a lot of these. Which is why I'm just like, I can't get into that. They don't have that in Yuri most of the time.
There is some like I don't know. I guess I would have to see how it was written. But then again, then I read it and then I'm like, oh god, this is really bad. There is a lot. So here's Yuri.
Bloom Into You just got an anime. What was it, last year? I believe. Very wholesome.
Oh wow, really?
Mm-hmm. Funny enough, for the Yaoi versus Yuri, for the aspects about it, for a lot of times, I've seen this in Yuri where it's like, Oh my gosh, people can't know that two girls like each other. For the yaoi, I don't usually ever see that. Like, ever.
So the one's more accepted than the other, generally.
Of course, there have been a lot where, like, I believe there was, it was called Mermaid something. So it's like these girls activate their power by, like, sexual interactions with each other. I didn't see the anime, but, like, that's what I read, and I was like, what the heck am I reading?
That's a new trigger. I've never heard of that one before.
They really like anthologies.
So are the anthologies all different characters, or are they all about the same character?
So funny enough, it depends on the person. Sometimes they'll have different artists. Sometimes it'll be the same artist. I've had anthologies where it's the same artist. So the characters will look the exact same every chapter, but they just have different names.
Oh my goodness, that would drive me crazy.
I had to get used to it, so.
I would have to get used to it.
How Do We Relationship? That one's getting a lot of popularity right now.
That looks like the girl from in this If I Could Reach. Looks like, what's her name? Tifa?
Oh yeah,
she kind of does. There's a lot. Okay, so you said you wanted to mention Webtoons. I know I'm just going through a bunch of these, like, what's this, what's that, tell me about this one. What about on Webtoons? Tell us a little bit about on Webtoons.
I'm sorry, I stepped away. What was that?
Rude. No, I'm just kidding.
Sorry.
I said we talked a little bit about I don't know, queer manga. Now, what about Webtoons? Like, I've noticed a lot.
I'm in the tag right now. Like, you want me to share the screen?
Share the screen. Go for it, lady.
Am I allowed to do that? Let me see.
3 hours later.
I'm very sorry for what everybody has to see. If you're gonna edit this, use as much censors if you want to.
All right, I'll do that. I can handle that.
Here we go. Just let me know when you're on here. I'm sorry.
Why are you sorry?
I'm sorry for everybody else.
But yeah, I mean, I don't see the issue. That's why there's a variety.
So, like, over here, they would have, like, can you see my mouse?
Yes, I can.
Cool. So they have, like, different tags. And
oh,
then
yeah,
they
hardcore.
Have, all completed, popular, new. Let's scroll down. I'm not telling you which ones I have right now. All of mines are wholesome, dulsome.
Totally. Yep. I believe you, too.
Yeah, I'm on number 7, by the way. Like, I'm not on the first page. I was looking. I'm like, okay, let me see what else do they have. I'm like, blah, blah, blah. There are a lot of wholesome ones, though.
Wow, there are so many.
People think that this is the John L. This is the John story right now.
Oh my gosh.
I find this super funny. Oh gosh. I've never even seen these. Oh, actually, I know that one. That one was free. Listen, if something is free, I will read it. Free is free.
That's why you need to read Sunstone.
What platform was it on?
I don't know. He usually has it on his social media, and you can download the PDFs. Like, every time he has a new volume come out, he'll release all the rest before it. I
could have sworn I sent you
because
this
he
one.
doesn't care. Hey, we got a feet fetish one over here.
You'll have a lot of those. Can I
blind play
this one? Yeah. Oh snap! It worked. So now we're back to the first page.
I'm not. Sure
I actually they have events, and there was an event that said window to window, but I had no idea what that was, and it was like, hey, coins to read it. I'm like, cool, and so I bought it, and then I'm like, okay, now I can read whatever I want. They're like, no, that's only a specific webtoon, and I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, window to window, and I'm like, no,
no.
And so I had to read a majority of it. And I was like, it could be better. There's so much things in there. I'm like, yo, this is a red flag. Are you going to talk about it later? No.
Nope.
And I'm like, yeah, what the frick?
Wait, are those boobs or are those pecs? Come on, you gotta. I'm dying
So
to know.
a lot of times for BL, they will freaking do that. And I'm like, listen, if it looks like boobs, I'm going to be out of it. Like, don't make it look like boobs, bro. Like, I don't know why that's such a big thing. They will always, a lot of times, they will make it look like boobs.
Yeah, that's not attractive.
They'll make it
like
jiggle
at all.
like boobs. And I'm like,
No.
no. Like, they put the jiggling motions on there, and I'm like, what are you doing? Stop.
That is not cute. That is weird.
Oh, okay. It's a good thing I didn't send you that other one yet. I was reading this one. This one I'm actually interested in because this guy is freaking crazy.
Everybody needs a little crazy in their life.
Yeah, I usually don't read like stuff like that because I'm like, oh, what if it traumatizes me later on? You know, like,
wait. No, go back.
I'm gonna go back.
I gotta ask, go down to the bottom.
All the way in the bottom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that a love story about a boy and his dog?
Oh, they have an all ages edition. So a lot of stories will have like not safe for work and then all ages edition. So judging from this, I want to say
I'm sorry, I'm not kink shaming or anything. I'm just giggly.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure the dog probably becomes human or something like that.
Okay.
Oh, I can literally put read more. After ending an on-again, off-again relationship of 10 years, Min-suk decides to foster a Siberian Husky, worst thing you could ever do, named Beksin to mark the start of his new single life. He can't wait to cuddle with his new furry roommate, take him on walks, and play fetch. But Beksin is no ordinary dog. When the night falls, Min-suk is in for a surprise. So I'm guessing something happens. Yeah. Probably human-related.
Yes. Oh, these are so funny. Not in a bad way, just in
understandable.
I'm so in my bubble when it comes to stuff. I'm like, wow, there's so much more of a world out there.
And some of these will be like Japanese. Some of them will be made by people in America. Not a lot. The Chinese stories you avoid at all costs. They suck so bad. I've really hard finding a good one. Really, really hard. Like every single good one I've ever seen, I'm like, why do you suck so bad, bro? Like straight stories, LGBT stories. You just suck at stories overall. How are you popular? I'm like, maybe China likes suckish stories, but that'd be a lie because I've actually seen like Chinese movies. So cool. We went through everything.
There is plenty of variety. Do not let what's going on there? Do not let people fool you. That's the moral of our story. They
have the Omegaverse, which is like, you know, which I believe it happens in manga too. Guys are able to get pregnant, and there's like a alpha and omega system.
Oh, I see. I never heard of that either. I'm so caught in my bubble. I'm like Sunstone and John Cat. Like it's so bad, or Aphrodite or something. That's bad. Are you still there?
Yes, I got a really weird text.
Uh-oh, Bianca's in trouble with Webtoon.
Somebody asked me, are you from this because your area code? And I'm like, how about you not? I said you got the wrong number. Please don't like look up where I live, especially since
that is so weird.
So, how do I block?
Yeah, block it right away.
And the thing is, like, they're gonna be like, I was just trying to make conversation. I'm like, nope. Sorry, you don't ask that. That's a red flag. I do not know you.
I know, that was so weird. Similar when Alpha Eagle asked me what state I was from. I'm like, I mean, I think most people know, but it's none of your fucking business. I'm not gonna blast it. It's just like, it's weird. Stop being weird, people. Read manga instead. Or webtoons. Because I'm about to go check out some webtoons. Is there
the other ones I sent you mean?
Yes, absolutely.
I really want to know what you think of one of them.
Is it the third one?
Kind of. But I also want to know how you feel about the first one, too, because that's the one I've been talking about for a very long time. And I want to know how you think of the education. And, you know, those people saying, oh my gosh, why don't this and this? This one freaking shuts it down.
All right. Well, I know what I'm reading tonight. I'll check it out tonight and I'll email you in the morning, let you know.
Woot woot.
Woot woot. All right. Is there anything before that I forgot before we go?
Traumatizing. Yay. I traumatized everybody.
That's
sorry,
all right.
Not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
But in actuality, I actually do not read a lot of LGBT manga or webtoons. Mine tends to be more of the action-oriented one.
Mine tends to be more comics, so I get it. I do. I get it, but I like everything. I like the romance. I'm not gonna lie. There's, it's the girl in me. I can't help it. Some romance.
Which is why when I send you like crowdfunding romance comics, you gotta back it immediately. Don't ask questions. It could be bad. It could be good. Shh.
No questions allowed. Do you have anything going on at your channel this weekend? I mean, this week.
Dang, I said I was gonna put out a video today. But it's extremely late, so I can literally do on fast right now. And well, right now, not when this is uploaded.
Yeah.
So one of them is going to be Saturday, which if you haven't, check it out, and another one this week.
Perfect. Make sure you guys check out her channel, and we will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.